Pro-Trump January 6th conspirator Jim Jordan lost a second bid to become the Speaker of the House today, receiving even fewer votes than he got on the first ballot yesterday, leaving Republicans in total chaos and no closer to resolving their crisis than they were 2 weeks ago. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. We're now going on 2 weeks without a Speaker of the House, meaning one of our two chambers of Congress is completely paralyzed and can't do anything. Jordan lost one ballot yesterday and then another today. In fact, after today's failed ballot, the temporary Speaker, Patrick McHenry, immediately gavelled the House back into recess.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the Chair.
We took one vote and it up. I'd say let's call it a day. It's like if the first kid in a Little League game struck out and the coach said, hell with this same old we forfeit. Tyler's our best hitter. If he strikes out, we're Although McHenry seems to have gotten a note to tone down his gavel bang compared to 2 weeks ago, when he was so mad, he nearly broke the dais. Is he gaveling the House into recess, or did he just see a New York City bathtub cockroach? You know, the kind they just sort of dance around the edge of the drain as if to say, that's right, I live here all the time. McHenry's gavel is the sound the coyote makes whenever he falls off a cliff. Meep, meep. So the House still has no Speaker, and for all the Republican complaints about Biden, he's too old, he's too woke, he's too weak, even they have to admit he's a sentient being who exists. And the Republicans can't even deliver that, which, at the very least, gives us a chance to update our ongoing montage of House Republican chaos. And while we do that, I'm going to take a few sips from this bottle of whiskey.
Kevin McCarthy practically daring hardline Republicans to come after him.
If somebody wants to make a motion against me, bring it.
To which Gates responded, just did.
He says he's coming for you. Can you survive?
Yes, I'll survive.
The Speaker of the House has been removed from his position.
Some House Republicans have been in contact with and have started an effort to draft former President Donald Trump to be the next Speaker.
A lot of people have been calling me that Speaker.
Donald Trump has just endorsed Jim Jordan to be the next Speaker of the House.
On Capitol Hill right now, we have breaking news. House Republicans have nominated Steve Scalise moments ago as their new Speaker.
I want to thank my House Republican colleagues for just designating me as the Speaker.
Just hours after being nominated to become the next Speaker of the House, Congressman Steve Scalise says he's dropping out of the race.
I'm withdrawing my name as a candidate for the Speaker designee.
Jim Jordan is the new Republican nominee for Speaker.
Jim Jordan is trying to rally support ahead of a planned vote today.
We feel really good about where we're at.
My prediction is Jim will win this, and even on the first round of votes.
Congressman Jim Jordan lost the first vote for House Speaker.
The Speaker has not been elected.
Jim Jordan plans to take his second shot at the speakership on the House floor.
Congressman Jim Jordan appears to have lost the second round of votes for Speaker.
A Speaker has not been elected.
You probably thought this bottle would be empty after that long montage. Well, it's not, because this is the second bottle. So the House still has no Speaker. In fact, Jordan actually lost more votes on today's ballot than he did on yesterday's. As evidence of how bad it's getting, one GOP member of Congress voted for a former Republican Speaker who has been extremely vocal about how much he hated the job.
We really are sort of in a silly season with some of this. Congressman Mike Kelly voted for former Speaker Boehner.
If John Boehner found out someone was trying to make him Speaker again, he would immediately burst into tears. Remember that? Boehner crying? Because that was a thing. And that's today's topical reference from 10 years ago. Besides, Boehner, and this is true, is super into weed now. He became a cannabis entrepreneur after he retired. That's how long the show in the House Republican Conference has been going on. That was so long ago that when we did a piece on Boehner resigning, I looked like this. If you were to compare how Boehner looks now to how I look now, you would definitely assume I was the one who got super into weed. No more suits, man. I'm wearing a cardigan and growing my hair out to look like the dude. So Jordan lost a second humiliating vote. We're going on 2 weeks without a functioning House of Representatives, and everyone is pissed about it, especially Republicans who keep admitting that this spectacle is making them look like a bunch of incompetent morons.
Funding the government is part of our fundamental duty, and we can't even do that. It's bordering on the absurd.
This is petty. This is not responsible.
Makes us look like a bunch of idiots.
We keep playing those clips because they're the ones saying all the stuff we usually say about them. They're doing their own closer look about themselves. Soon, Rudy Giuliani is gonna go on Fox News and say, you know what, I just realized? I look like I sat on my balls. Seriously, Republicans are making all of our points for us. At this point, we don't even need to do any writing. Wally's cue cards are all blank. Hey, Wally, sometimes you have lines on the show, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And when you do, one of the other cue card guys holds your cue cards.
That's correct.
But the other day, you had the line, well, Seth, before I cut you off. And I'm just wondering, do you have cue cards when your line is that short?
No, I just remember it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Republicans are convinced. So you can memorize a line that short?
Sure.
Because when the editors were looking at Monday's Closer Look, they noticed something was written on your hand, and when they zoomed in, they saw this. So...
yeah, that was for something else.
That was for something else?
Yeah, I always write little notes on my hand. Want to see mine today?
Yeah, sure. All right. Oh, good. And it's not just Republican politicians. Conservative pundits are also mad at them. Not mad at them for nominating an election denier and coup plotter like Jim Jordan, mind you, but for not lining up behind him. Fox host Brian Kilmeade was caught on a hot mic during yesterday's vote insulting one member of Congress who chose not to vote for Jim Jordan. Kilmeade's not on screen, so listen for his comment at the end.
Bacon. McCarthy.
Dumbass.
Even worse, he had to write that line on his hand. Do you know how bad things are for you when Brian Kilmeade is calling you a dumbass? This is a guy so dumb, he once tried to roast a marshmallow over an open flame with a plastic spoon.
I got the marshmallows.
All right, while Steve roasts his marshmallows,
That's a little dangerous.
Watch your
They're
fingers.
small. They're a little small. Can we get a stick? Anybody got a stick?
Anyone have any wood?
Ouch. Ouch.
You're really going to do that with your hands?
Yeah, you're right.
Not going to.
Upon further review, we're looking for a stick.
Oh,
No, not plastic.
Okay.
That's bad for the environment. Oh.
So Steve Doocy tried to use his hand to roast a cocoa-sized marshmallow. Then Kilmeade said, no, I've got a better idea. How about plastic? We have an annual fire safety training here at 30 Rock, and never once has the fire marshal thought to tell us, don't stick a plastic spoon into an open flame. Meanwhile, the fire marshal at Fox & Friends has to clarify that when you use the fire escape, you want to make sure you go down. By the way, just to give you an idea of how much worse Fox News has gotten in the 13 years since that clip, the only two people in that clip still employed by the network are the guys who tried to roast a marshmallow with their hands in a plastic spoon. But the role of Fox News here goes beyond muttered insults because it turns out some of the right-wing personalities have been pressuring Republican holdouts to back Jordan, including Sean Hannity. And now that pressure campaign seems to have backfired, making Republicans even angrier. On his radio show this week, Hannity took exception to the allegation that he was trying to influence Republicans to back Jordan.
And by the way, Republicans, my patience is running thin. They'll have a vote tomorrow at noon for Jim Jordan as Speaker. I start asking people, because I do my job, and I call around, and I'm like, okay, what's the latest? What's happening? How's support for Jim Jordan going? So I get a list of people that I'm told by my sources are not supporting Jim Jordan. I ask a series of questions. Hannity's trying to influence. Does anybody know what my job is? I report news, straight news some days, and then I also give opinion. That would mean that's part of my job. And then we talk sports, and we talk culture, and we talk about woke, and we talk about cancel culture, et cetera. Okay, so what is that the equivalent of? I'm like the entire newspaper.
Yeah, he's like the entire newspaper. You should see his funny pages. So why are conservative hardliners pressuring everyone to vote for Jordan? Because Trump backs Jordan and Jordan backs Trump. Jordan was a key player in the January 6th coup attempt and still to this day refuses to say that the 2020 election was not stolen. He was named throughout the congressional report on the insurrection as a key player, defied a subpoena to answer questions, and was listed on the president's call sheet from that day. According to a copy obtained by the Washington Post, the schedule says that at 9:24 a.m., the president talked with Representative Jim Jordan. But Jordan initially refused to answer questions about whether he spoke with Trump on January 6th, leading to this very awkward interview with a reporter.
Yes or no, did you speak with President Trump on January 6th?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke with the president last week. I speak with the president all the time. I spoke with him on January 6th. I mean, I talk with President Trump all the time. I'm actually kind of amazed sometimes that people keep asking this. But of course, I talk with the president all the time. I talk with him, like I said, I talked with him last week.
On January 6th, did you speak with him before, during, or after the Capitol was attacked?
I'd have to go. I spoke with him that day after. I think after. I don't know if I spoke with him in the morning or not. I just don't know. I'd have to go back and. I mean, I don't know that when those conversations happen.
When someone talks that fast, they're either holding an auction, lying their ass off, or pitching a screenplay at a Malibu beach house after snorting a mountain of blow. By the way, congrats to that reporter for remaining completely still and just letting Jordan spin out. That's how you do it. Just sit there motionless while he picks up speed like a bull bobsledder. Jordan was talking so fast, the only way you could slow him down is if one of his fellow Republicans knocked him over the head like this. Trump and his allies want Jordan in charge so they can take another crack at what they tried and failed to do on January 6th. The other problem is no one sane wants to be speaker because it's a horrible job where you have to deal with lunatics like Jim Jordan, leaving an opening for lunatics like Jim Jordan. In fact, here's how much the job of being a Republican Speaker of the House sucks. One GOP Congressman, Ken Buck, who has simply asked that any future speaker admit Biden fairly won the election, joked on CNN that he voted for someone he knows for a fact wouldn't want the job.
Joining me now is Republican Congressman Ken Buck of Colorado. He did not vote for Congressman Jim Jordan, instead voting for Tom Emmer. Well, I guess my first question is, do you really want Tom Emmer to be Speaker?
No, I don't. I don't like Tom Emmer. I figured this would be the worst job in America.
Okay, so just to underscore that, you voted for somebody because you don't like them.
I voted for somebody because I wasn't going to vote for Jim.
Yeah, but you don't. It's not because you want him to be Speaker. Okay, well, that says a lot about where we are right now.
He voted for someone who doesn't want to be Speaker because the job of Speaker sucks. It's third in line to the presidency, and Republicans are treating it like it's a punishment on impractical jokers. And at this point, why not? Give the gavel to Murr and let the other jokers tell him what to do with it through an earpiece while they watch from inside a van. Bang it so hard you break the podium. The fundamental problem here is that the GOP is a fractured coalition with no discernible ideological core, except that most of them want to dismantle American democracy. And on top of that, the job of Speaker absolutely sucks. In order to want it, you'd have to be a...
Petty. Absurd.
Dumbass.
This has been A Closer Look.